All right, hi everyone. My name is Natalie Vlatko, and this is the SIG Docs bi-weekly community meeting on this day, Tuesday, the 6th of August, 2024, in your local time zone. We come together every couple of weeks to chat all about docs and all the fun stuff that's coming up. We have a release in progress right now, so we're going to have a few updates there. But first of all, I just want to say big thanks to all those joining out there, either on YouTube land or currently in the meeting. And for the purposes of this meeting, it is a Kubernetes SIG meeting, which means we abide by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct. Do want to remind everyone that means that you want to be respectful and kind to one another in all areas that we work in, meetings, Slacks, PRs, issues, etc., etc. If you have any issues with anything around the Code of Conduct, you can contact that team at conduct@kubernetes.io, and they will keep your information as well as your request or general concern anonymous. All right. Thanks for everyone joining. I want to do a quick shout out to double check if there's any new contributors that are on the call. I don't think so, but I always want to double check before we get started. Anyone new that wants to shout out and say hello? Going once, going twice. Possibly not, that's okay. If for anyone who is new that possibly joins after and wants to add their name to the agenda doc, please feel free to do so. We're always happy to say hi to new folks here on the call. Alrighty, let's go into some of the general, admin tasks that we have and that we usually go through for our SIG docs folks and for our docs team before we get started. We have PR wrangling here as part of SIG docs, which means every week one of us approvers is on shift to try and push our contributions through the pipeline. This week's wrangler is me. So if you need me for any kind of approvals or extra reviews, please feel free to tag me directly in PRs if needed, or just jump into SIG docs and ask for it. I am around, so definitely please let me know. Next week's PR wrangler is going to be Divya, and the following week's PR wrangler is Nate, who's got Mahit 70 shadowing them. For anyone who is interested in shadowing on the PR wrangling schedule, feel free to reach out to any specific wrangler that you see on the schedule that you're interested in shadowing, and we can hook you up and get you started with this. Becoming a PR wrangler does require you to be an approver, so it does mean moving through the contribution ladder, but it's always good to learn and understand how we go about reviews, how we go about pushing contributions through the pipeline. So definitely feel free to jump in and shadow as you'd like. Approvers, please make sure you know your shifts as well, but I will keep these updated every 2 weeks of the meeting. Following that, we've got issue wrangling as well, similar to PR wrangling, where we go through a bunch of the issues as much as we can for the SIG docs group. This week's wrangler is Divya, and then next week's will be Abby as well for issue wrangling too. So reviewers, please make sure you know your scheduled wrangling shifts. Okay, that's enough from me. Let's chat a little bit about 131, the current in progress release. We've got some updates here from Docs and Comms, so whoever is on for Docs, we'd love to hear an update.
Yes, so we have raised PRs for site configuration updates for previous releases, and we are working on that for the future release. And the branching for the week is created and even has been merged. And we are only left with the tasks that are scheduled for the day before the actual release. So that's the update from Doug's side.
Awesome. Great to hear. Great to hear that everything is green. I also hope maybe if Princess is watching the call later on, that they get better soon. I think they're out sick, so I hope they feel better soon. Any questions or comments for the release docs team?
It gets smoother every release, which is lovely.
Big time. Yeah. We also had one exception that came through in like a small quick succession this time, and it was handled really expertly and well. So I think, yeah, it's all going really dope. Cool. Thanks so much, Mariam, and thank you, Docs. Release Docs, I should say. Moving on to release comms. Who is around for our update today?
That would be me. Hey everyone. So our current status is yellow, but I can explain why. We purposely keep it yellow since we need some help from let's say, cap owners on some content or SIG leads. So we really want to keep it in this status, even if it would be green-ish in our opinion. Anyway, we are following up on 13 ready to review blogs currently. As Tim said before, it's a long pipeline, but we're getting there. We need to have the approved, and looks good to me, labels by next Tuesday. Even before it would be great. Honestly, I would target Friday. We are continuing the reviews on those anyway, both content and technical reviews for those blogs. And for the release blog, we are progressing on solving the PR comments. I think we are missing 4 now. Whenever Abby updates the PR with my changes.
Awesome. Thanks for the update, Matteo. Any comments or questions for release comms?
Could you drop the link to your highest priority review requirements? Just so we've got.
Yeah. So I will provide a list. I would go with the release schedule date.
Perfect.
So the first blogs that are reviewed are the ones with the earliest date. I can provide the query for that.
Are we still using the blog project?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just take a look over there then. Perfect.
Indeed. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Awesome. And just to say it on the make sure on the recording too, I'm the PR wrangler again for this week. So if you need, especially on the blog side of things, any more reviews, I'll jump in and help out a little. But approvals in particular, happy to help with that as well.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Just a small note for Nate. I don't know if he's aware about it, but in the GitHub project, if you put any filter on one field, you have to remove it before ordering for publication date or something. I don't know why. I thought it would override the latest field, but it doesn't. So if you wonder why it's not ordering by the field you're selecting, probably you have already a pre-existing filter.
Good note. Thank you.
Yeah, I just spent like half an hour about it. So
I did not realize it was haunted in that way either. So that's
yeah.
Thanks.
GitHub, please fix it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, folks. All right. We have a super duper light agenda today with no issues or PRs linked in the agenda doc itself. So for folks who are on the call, I just want to double check. Does anyone have any issues or PRs they would like to discuss today?
I'm actually kind of happy to not have one today. It's
I mean,
been a while.
Hey, you got her done.
I haven't heard any feedback, positive or negative, about the new way of selecting. So I'm going to take it on good news.
Yeah, for folks watching the recording later, or maybe you don't know now, we're referring to the page find feature. Yeah, the change in the search. I also haven't seen anything on Reddit, Nate. I think that's the other thing worth.
And Corey Quinn has not texted me at 4 a.m. to complain about the docs search again. So I assume it's fine.
There we go.
Yeah, big thanks to everyone also who tested and looked over that as well. That's a big help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tim.
I have an issue. I'll chuck it in the agenda as well, but it's the light and dark mode for the front page.
Oh, yep.
So I'm looking at the wrong bit, the Google Doc. Where is it? Yes, it is the 6th of the 8th in British money. So we have a request every so often. People say, can you make the website do light and dark mode? Which, as you know, is very simple. But I cut this down to, can we do one page in light and dark mode? And that was 2 years ago. But we now have a PR that I think looks ready to merge, if we want to. And that's the question. Like, do we feel like that is an improvement worth having and then maintaining? That when you go to the main landing, the landing page of Kubernetes.io, it will adapt to your light dark preferences, and the rest of the website won't.
Right. Oh, that's what I was about to ask. Like, will the rest of the website adapt, and it won't?
No, you can look at the preview for the PR that's in there, And PR, by the way, is
it
45535,
I looked at it from the
which is going into Zoom chat.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll pop the preview in there as well to make it all a bit easier.
So we're talking about only the front page.
Yes, because do you like PRs that are, you know, sort of 4,000 lines of no?
So unfortunately, as a dark mode devotee, I would have the whole of absolutely everything in dark mode at all times if I could. That looks so good.
But you're so colorful, Kat. You're not the classic goth.
You know what? This is like the one and only time you have ever seen me wear color. The only time. Natalie, have you ever seen me wear color besides this?
No, that's actually very true. I think yeah, you and I have like possible colorful clothes only for a specific reason.
Yeah, like it's literally just because it's my Olympics shirt. But like, are we concerned that it's going to be like super jarring if only the front page is in dark mode?
I think
Like, is that going to create a different accessibility problem?
I do like looking at it, to not answer your question, Kat, I do like looking at it from Tim's perspective of the idea of, you know, the maintenance of this.
Yeah.
First of all. And I straight away think about, okay, making sure all of our localizations and everything is working as intended.
Yeah.
Feels like a big hassle for something that I think is a nice to have as someone who doesn't have an accessibility requirement though. So that's also like a perspective we need to get, right?
I mean, if it's just like straight up better than nothing to have the homepage available in dark mode, then we should.
On a separate note, I think it breaks the nav bar. Like, it's not responsive. It doesn't go in a new line for the documentation and stuff. It overlaps with the logo. If you go back to the preview, Tim.
Oh, it doesn't on my screen, but I'm on
I'm not screen
an
sharing,
ultra
by the way.
wide.
I'm the one screen sharing, it's me.
Ah, okay, sorry.
So at the top, yeah, so at the top we can see that there's already like the small overlap anyway, because and you go down and then.
Oh, I
But I don't
can't.
think
I tried on the current Kubernetes page, and even switching the size of the screen, it doesn't do it, and it actually goes.
I
in a
can't
new
make
line.
it do that on the
Okay.
dark mode preview. I can't make it do what it's doing on Nat's screen.
let's
Even
ask
if-
Natalie. Let's have a control. What does the existing website look like on your screen?
Yeah.
Let me go crew. Oh, not dev.
Maybe it's a browser thing.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's you.
Not a regression.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
Cool.
what causes that, but we're not fixing that today.
We're not going to fix that today, but it's
Okay.
my machine, everyone.
No,
Okay.
it's how we use our very customized doxy.
Yeah. So can you go back to what were you saying that were you thinking it was breaking the overlap was breaking because of the dark mode, Matteo? Was that your feedback?
Yeah. So no, that's
yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I will say it
um,
is quite smooth, the change in the nav bar. That's my one feedback on that. But yeah, sorry to speak over someone.
yes, I wanted to say, like, on my machine, it's still you know, on as in it's still on the white mode, not dark mode. I don't know why.
Oh no, so what we're looking at right now is a preview of a current PR that's yet to merge.
Yeah,
And
that's what
your
I'm
browser-
actually looking at. Yeah.
Your browser must be requesting dark mode. If you don't tell your whole computer or your browser that you prefer that color scheme, it falls back to light mode.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm actually using Safari. How do I activate? As in,
It would be in the
Uh,
settings on your, like on the main, the actual settings of your general, of your, are you a Mac user, for example?
yes.
Yeah, so in your settings on your computer, you can actually like set your entire machine to default to dark mode.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Now, one thing I'll point out is that in this PR, we're not adding the override mechanism that a typical website that's finished this work says, okay, if you want to override that, like essentially, you've not expressed a preference, or you've expressed a preference for dark, but you think we've done a terrible job, can we have it back in light mode? There's often an override thing, and that's not added.
Right.
Do we need the toggle for, like, if this is supposed to be an MVP, do we need the
I don't think we need the
toggle?
toggle. I'm just calling out where we are so
Yeah.
people can make an honest assessment. Because I'll tell you what, this PR has been open for ages.
Yeah.
And the author, Tamil Savan, what's the GitHub handle? 1102, has put a lot of time into it. And if we're not accepting it, we need to almost send like a massive thank you card saying, my word, you've done a great job. We didn't accept it, but here's a thank you for getting it to the point where we reviewed. It's that much work that I think we need to do it. But also, I hope we can do something with it.
I'm inclined
Well,
to
that's
take
flag.
it if we
fair.
like, if we commit to like continuing to work on dark mode for the rest of the website. I'm inclined to take it because I'm a dark mode enjoyer. Personally, that's selfish of me and should not
So I'm
be
just
the decision maker.
I'm
I
looking
don't
at-
have statistics, but many engineers are dark mode enjoyers. Like,
Yeah.
I think.
So my question with such an old PR, and I just linked over in the chat, Doxy has done a bunch of work recently to support dark mode. I'm wondering if we can get some to the maintenance question. I'm wondering if we can implement or include some of the new Doxy stuff to get some of this stuff for hopefully ostensibly for free. And I'm just looking at again how old this PR is. If that has some of this new Doxy stuff, I'm not seeing, for some reason I'm not getting I'm not seeing the actual commits on the PR, or if there's any sort of recent stuff. And I'm wondering also if the Doxy, and again, this is all me talking off the top of my head. I haven't done any research into it or anything like that. So I'm wondering if the Doxy dark mode support also would help us support the entire site versus just the front page. So I'm also happy to do things or accept things piecemeal, right? Like I think if somebody does the front page, great. I'm happy to accept that as a first step. But I would also like to suggest that we explore some of this new stuff over on the Doxy side, just to see if we can get just to see if we can get some stuff for free, because it's nice when other people can do the maintenance for us.
Yeah, I think that's I hugely agree with that, and I wonder, Tim, if you think that would be worthwhile messaging for Tamil Selvan here, if we want to talk about specifically seeing if there is like implementing the Doxy dark mode so that we can accept and thus keep kind of working towards all dark mode for the Doxy. If you think that would be like a worthwhile feedback to give back, as opposed to requiring a yes or no answer, do we want to accept this or not?
I have a few thoughts. Yeah, I'd actually like to not be the only person doing the feedback on this PR. Like, it's mostly been me, and it'd be great to
I'll
have
go
some
do
other
it.
voices. Cracking. I'd like to share something. Got that there. I've looked at what it would take to align a lot more with upstream Doxy, and I have a branch for this on my laptop, which I keep rebasing against main. Would someone like to see what that looks like?
Oh yeah, I would like to see what that looks
Show
like.
and tell hour. Let's go.
All right, let me stop sharing 1 second.
So something like that. Okay, so this is like world first. I think that's the right screen share. You don't get to control my screen. Here we go. This is a much more doxy flavored our website.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I've been working on for a while. This is I'd love to work out how to take this forward, but I think it's got legs. I think it's an idea that we can use. People who recognize Doxy will be thinking, "Hey, I've seen this movie before."
This looks super familiar.
This is the old Doxy, but of course, once we're on old Doxy, the upgrade path becomes much easier.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we get this. This is almost. There are different ways to take this work that I've done, and one of them is to say, okay, but what we're going to do is we're also going to take all that and then do another commit that upgrades Doxy to like 0.3 or whatever, and see, oh, that didn't break everything. Great, we'll have it even slicker, and then maybe build back on that and put some more styling in. So it's kind of improve, out again, which is even more work. This is a massive PR, by the way, in terms of like, the massive diff. Let's see.
Yeah. That's very, very cool though. Have you opened a PR? Is there a way to help you with this? Yeah.
There's an issue. I've just been sort of tinkering away with this. There's an issue saying we should align with upstream Doxy, and I have merged, or I have put forward PRs to slice away bits of this that have already gone in.
Yeah.
So I had a bigger set of diffs, and I've got it down to 12,000 lines.
Oh, merely.
But we are already closer. By doing this work, it lets me see where we can become closer to upstream Doxy, and we don't need that shortcode, or this works fine without, and so on. But I think that now is the time to actually think, what's the next step? And if there's some dark mode support that we can put in, adaptive dark mode support, we can explore that. I'll also show you what the main page looks like, which is not. It looks better if I change the zoom. I haven't quite got it right yet. I've had to turn off the banners because the banner support I haven't finished. Like there's work to do here.
Yeah.
When the banners are on, this is all wrong. Doxy doesn't have banner announcement support. Sarah Wells's face has got the text of the wrong thing. It's not perfect.
No.
But yeah, it's something.
I think there's a lot of value there because again, there's a lot of people working on upstream Doxy and we can take advantage, right? Like this is kind of the idea of using a template like this, is that we can take advantage of upstream updates. Of course, there's always the delta that gets created between, but even that, I think once we get to a certain point, like the overrides and all that, shouldn't once we get closer, the overrides shouldn't need as drastic updating moving forward because it's going to be in line with the newer This is great though. This is I'd give a big +1 to this being a short to medium term goal for us to get up to date with Doxy, and it's something that I'm doing with several other sites as well, trying to get more modern Doxy in some of the other CNCF sites.
One thing that I've got this little thing top right, this deployment API reference. Let me zoom a little bit. That's in the main site, and I got that working. So I've got lots of little commits to do it. Yeah. But yeah, it's 12,000 lines of unreviewable code right now. So we should think about what we think the way forward is.
Thanks for sharing, Tim.
That's cool. Thank you.
Just asking a silly question about this. Is there a way to perform like a canary deploy of this new doc version at some point? So to redirect, I don't know, 10% of the traffic, analyze if everything works, and then doing the
typical... Well, the light dark thing. Yeah, you could do that. Like if I was going to, do people mind if I talk about this?
Go for it.
Yeah. So it's CSS. So we could have some JavaScript that sets a class on 10% of the pages, you know, makes up a random number, sets a class on body, and then add a style rule, which is just like body dot canary 10% dot whatever, prefers light dark mode. That's not a lot of, I mean, it's, if I go back to Tunnel 71102 and say, hey, there's more things, it's annoying, but someone else could do that. Like, we don't have to put it all on one contributor. And I think if you know how SCSS and SAS preprocessing works, you can picture how that's not actually a huge change. And it's not a lot of lines of JavaScript. It's like 5. So
Because I completely zero on front end. So probably that's why I didn't see it before.
ooh, interesting. Or we can integrate with the Netlify feature. Nate, you should talk.
Sorry, I haven't used this, but I've been looking for an excuse. So they have in beta now split testing. So you can actually split your traffic between even I believe you can even set it to load branches. So if we have a big feature rollout like that, we may be able to say, hey, Netlify, run this, rather than doing it on at the site level. We can say it at the server level. Hey, let's try this. Now, again, this is a big project to play with, but there are some tools available for that type of work, and I think it could be, especially rolling out like a big change like this, could be a good project to try this type of thing. But I think that that's an interesting idea, and there's tooling for that. It also would help with the if we were to do that, I would also make sure that we are doing our analytics correctly, so that we're gathering the data, not just to like put it out there, but like to make sure that we're sort of here's our theory, here's our data, what is the actual what does this mean? So I would suggest yes, interesting, and I'm just saying we'd have to be careful about how we do it, but yeah. Sorry, I'm rambling now. I'm gonna stop.
Oh, fine. Oh, fine. I would say upgrading to Doxy without like some support, like I know it seems super small and trivial, but like the banners are like just something that there's like a habitual thing in the community that like we can chuck these things up there that wouldn't support right now, that isn't that much of an issue, but actually would change a lot of how the website looks and is viewed like a good chunk of the time. That's only the one small nit, I would call it, that would come to mind of like moving over, let's say tomorrow versus
yeah, there would certainly have to be, especially on something like this, we would have to figure out what the minimum, I hate to use the term minimum viable product, but what is the minimum feature set that we would require to get to a testing point, right? Otherwise we can get into a lot of trouble. Because you're right, there's a site this large, there's not a lot of small things.
Yeah, and I do, and like I hate to say this, I hate to say the word steering, but a change this big that does take away possibly some stuff that is working today that won't work with that change probably might need to go possibly through steering. So yeah.
I think the way I would suggest moving this forward is to set up like a small like exploratory project, working with Tim and whomever is interested in doing that, seeing if it's feasible, which I think it is, but also then to help go through that process to say, okay, bring it to the not to volunteer the tech leads on this call, but let's work with the tech leads who then work with the chairs, who then work with and sort of bring it up from is the way I would sort of think about maybe running that, but I don't. I would have to defer, obviously.
Tim?
I mean, I want to sort of recap that the thing I brought up originally was around the light dark mode thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm looking for a way forward on.
Yeah.
But it'll, the discussion here is great, and it ties into the work on Doxy, which is why I brought it up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so Kat, thanks for putting your hand up on possibly jumping in to do a couple more reviews. I think it's a nice to have. Why not? And people knowing that if you're a dark mode connoisseur, we always know that it's if a website has it, it's going to kind of default to that, right? So yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks for bringing that up, Tim. One last call out for any other issues or PRs that people want to discuss today before we move on. Cool. Let's go over to the questions and discussion points. And I only have one that I've put on myself for today, which is for Kat and Nate that are on the call. Do you need any help from anyone to get the learning, documenting, reference docs generation thing going?
No. So we can't actually generate the reference docs until after the release is cut.
Yep.
So Xander and I will get some time on Nate's calendar for Thursday or Friday. Are you going to be in at it's KubeCon China, right?
KubeCon China. I'm not attending that, so I'm available.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
How much time would you suggest we block on your calendar?
a couple of hours, I would think, at least.
Okay.
We'll
get a couple hours on your calendar for Thursday or Friday then.
Friday preferred, and you may have to reach out to me. My Calendly doesn't currently allow folks to put stuff on Fridays, but this is a special case, so
Okay.
We'll sort something. But yeah, I think that's when we're gonna have to. That's where I've currently got a time that I think would work.
Perfect. We'll get her done.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm looking forward to making that process less difficult and better documented.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks for the update. I've just popped that in there as well. If you need anything from anyone, by the way, like in terms of actually you have approval status and ability now, Kat, so you won't need anything from us. Perfect. Okay.
Actually,
I think that's
that, sorry to jump back in here. To that point, do both Kat and Xander have approved rights on the actual site stuff? Like
On Netlify?
I've got access to like I can approve on like /en, but I can't approve like actual site infrastructure changes. Are you two able to? I don't think we'll need to.
We should be able to. We also have access to Netlify.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So they should be as part of owners. Owners are the ones who can do site-based.
That's why I was thinking.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And all co-chairs and tech leads are added as owners. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember if you exactly need that. I think maybe I can't remember. Well, I'm gonna have to...
I put in a change a while ago so that to separate out, you can approve for English from you can just approve for anywhere on the site. Yeah. So now, and the reason is that it lets us bring in English approvers without having to worry, thinking like, are we vetting this person because they could do what they like.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good change. I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Which I'm not
I'm in the website owners list, and I'm an emeritus tech lead. I'm happy to be in there, but if you didn't think I should be in there, this is your time to think, hey, we've got too many people. Thanks,
Tim. We can there's no rush to cycle you out of that, but good info. The idea is supposed to be it's like current co-chairs and tech leads. So it's good to also add to our offboarding docs to make sure that those PRs to like come out of those groups are open. We can double check that too. So thanks for the reminder. I don't think you're going to do anything ridiculous. So like update us to Doxy. So it'll be fine.
Sure. We might want to add some sort of like can review the CSS, but not, doesn't have God access. That's not a bad shout, I think, because I think you'd be happy for me to review the CSS changes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, so you mean like another possible group of can
Yeah,
review
and
kind of, let's say, site like CSS site changes, but not God mode. Yeah, right.
I'd also,
Yeah.
putting my CNCF hat on for a moment, and it doesn't have to be me, but this is just me as a CNCF guy. A CNCF guy, person. There is for Netlify a slot for somebody who works for the CNCF to have access to Netlify, which I think is important because we're able to help then in that case. We may want to consider a slot in the owners for the same type of position where it would be able to help in, for instance, situations like this where the site change might be required, but there might not be folks available to help. So I would suggest it, but again, I would be far be it for me to require it or anything like that.
It could be, for example, you know, a current new recruit to the CNCF. If it's not your name, maybe it's Bob, for example, or something. But for instance, yes, I CNCF person to that group. I agree. Like someone who's going to be at the moment it's you, Nate, but someone who is like in constant kind of like working with SIG docs and kind of can troubleshoot with us. And yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just a
Cool.
suggestion. Yeah,
awesome. Okay, folks, thanks so much. One last call out for any other discussion points or questions that you want to mention before we end the call.
I am going to find my open PRs for Doxy updates, the small ones, the 500 lines of changes, not the 12,000, and I'm going to rebase them and nudge people to review them.
Awesome.
Okay. As
I
long as
can-
it's not 12,000 lines, buddy.
I will purposely comment to say I am not reviewing this if it's
I will show up at your house.
yeah. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for taking part. Any other further questions or things that come up for folks who are watching in the future, jump into SIG docs on Slack, on the community Slack to ask your questions. But thanks, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your week.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Take care.